let's go over all the streaming options for Friday. We got 3 days left in the matchup. Hopefully, you can stream some guys and win your matchup for the week. Let's look at the first game. Is the Minnesota Timberwolves and Charlotte Hornets. Look at the team. None of them is exactly a great defensive team. Timberwolves on average give out the opponent shoots about 47-48%, while Charlotte Hornets 46%. So both teams are, it might just be a shootout with no defense this game. On the Timberwolves side, it's great to see Karl Anthony Towns come back. He's been missing majority of the season so far, and he's a top 5 guy when healthy. The only concern is that if they're out of the playoffs, are they gonna play Karl Anthony Towns that high minutes every single game? For the season, he's been averaging 32. Okay. On the injury report, D'Lo is out this game. He's another guy that's been pretty frustrating to own this season. He's in and out of the lineup a lot, only averaging 29 minutes when he played. And efficiency wise, he's been pretty rough. 43%. I mean, that's okay. Maybe he can improve 1 or 2%, but 75% from the free throw line. That's rough. 5 assists and 1.1 steals. He can do better than that. Just hope for take the time off and come back healthy. That's the main thing. With him out, the guy with the most upside is Anthony Edwards. He can really, the volume is there, averaging 14 shot attempts in 27 minutes. With D'Lo out, he will see a few more minutes. Naz Reid is another guy, second year guy. He popped off last game. I would also stream him. Ricky Rubio, yeah, is after TJ McConnell, he's the best assist and steals guys out there on the waiver wire. With D'Lo out, if your team really need those assists and steals, I would consider rostering him. But obviously, everything else, he's shooting 35% from the field. Everything else is probably going to be negative. Jared Vanderbilt is not getting enough minutes with or without Karl Anthony Towns, so you can really drop him at this point. With D'Lo out, if you you're desperate for some assist, you can also try to stream Jordan, this guy. He can also give you the assist, averaging 4.4 in only 18 minutes. He can give you 5 or 6 with 25 minutes of playing. And another guy that has been pretty impressive lately is their rookie Jaden McDaniels. Averaging only 18 minutes, but giving you 0.9 blocks. The problem is the minutes is not high enough. Let's look at the Charlotte Hornets. On their side, there's one guy out, mainly Devontae Graham. So Melo is already starting, playing 30 plus minutes every single game. Miles Bridges has been playing really well. Really well. Great efficiency, grabbing a lot of boards. It's time to stream him and see what happens. If he continues to play well, yeah, you roster him. If he fell off, not getting enough minutes, you drop him. Those guys, a lot of guys on the waiver wire, if they're on a hot streak, yeah, pick them up. If they fall off, yeah, you can drop them, because those guys are gonna be inconsistent, and when they go down a cold streak, they're not gonna have a lot of minutes for a long time. So you just drop them, and then if they pick it up again, you pick them up again. But the upside for those guys, they're not very high. That's why they're not being rostered. They're not like a Chris Boucher, where it can give you 5 blocks, right? The upside is there. There'll be ups and downs, but for guys like Miles Bridges, even if they pop off, they don't really have that one category. I mean, he can pop off with 20 points and 10 rebounds, but the defensive stats is somewhat lacking. 0.7 steals and 0.8 blocks is not bad though. So I would stream him. After that, Malik Monk I'm not too high on him. He really just give you the points. Still only shooting 45% after that 30 plus game performance he put up. Let's move on to the next game. Is the New York Knicks. Oh wow, this game, the big news here is Bradley Beal is sitting out. He's obviously he's pretty healthy, but he's sitting out, and it's not a back-to-back. They have a back-to-back coming up Monday and Sunday. So we'll see if he can play both games. It's horrible. You expected Beal to play, fairly pretty much all the games, but he's sitting out. Don't know what the Wizards thinking. I mean, at this point, are they tanking? We don't know. And both teams, you see the Knicks and Washington Wizards, the amount of steals they get as a team is really low. 6.6 versus 7. And Washington Wizards opponent, Knicks, I know they're being a joke. of a franchise over the years. But this year, they under Tom Thibodeau, you gotta give him a little bit credit. 43% holding their opponents to 44%, averaging only 103 points. Even though they only score 102 points, but that's pretty impressive. While the Wizards, yeah, you're showing on the Wizards, the guys are shooting 48%, scoring 121 points every single night. So it's pretty obvious on the Knicks. Like guys like Elfrid Payton, you can stream. Alec Burks, you can stream. RJ Barrett is close to drop territory. If he's not getting 35 minutes, you can drop him and move on. Immanuel Quickley, if you need some points, but none of those guys they don't have that one category that can just you look at a wildcat. I need the assist. Let me get some assist from this guy. Right, all the guys just give you a little bit of everything. So I'm not too high on any of those guys. If you really want some points, Immanuel Quickley can give you that, pretty consistent. Like he's averaging 10, 11 points, but versus a guy who's, let's say on the waiver wire, there's a guy averaging 13 points, but the guy that's averaging 30 points probably can pop off like Immanuel Quickley. Immanuel Quickley can pop off, go for 30 points. So if you really need some points, sure, I'll grab Immanuel Quickley. But with D-Rose getting there, I don't know. He still didn't get the minutes. They still want to develop this guy somehow. We don't know. I think with the arrival of Derrick, you can also assume Derrick Rose. I think it helps his value a little bit. Tom Thibodeau likes to play his players a bit more. In Detroit, his minutes has been really, really limited. Really, really limited. They were being extra careful. And I worry D-Rose is going to take some of the usage away from RJ Barrett and even their number one guy, Julius Randle. I worry. I worry about Julius Randle's assist numbers. Can he sustain 5.8? We don't know. On the Wizards side, without Bradley Beal, it's Russell Westbrook's show. I would stream a lot of guys, honestly. A lot of usage opening up, so those guys can really pop off. Davis Bertans, if you're looking for threes. Roy Hachimura, if you need some points and rebounds. Without Beal's been taking 28 shots a game. So those 28 shots gotta go to somebody. Alex Len also has some decent upside as a big man. He on a permanent basis, he's way better than Robin Lopez. He can get you the block shots, right? Rebound, good field goal guy. Ish Smith, maybe he'll get some minutes even with Russell Westbrook. We'll see. Let's go on to the next game. The San Antonio Spurs at the Atlanta Hawks. The Spurs, they're one of the most boring. Like, you see how many steals they get blocked fairly often, but they take care of the basketball. So their opponent on average gets 6 steals, while the Atlanta Hawks, led by Trae Young, gave out eight steals a game. San Antonio Spurs actually, on the field goal percentage wise, San Antonio, their opponent has been shooting the ball pretty well, 47%, and 39% from the three. Atlanta, are better in that department, but exactly their opponent has been scoring 111 points. Exactly, that's kind of crazy. On the Spurs side, our guy Eldridge is going to be out. With him out, in my opinion, Jacob Poeltl is a must roster. With 20 to 25 minutes, he can really grab you 10 rebounds, block 2 shots, and a really, really high field goals guy, 60%. Right? If the volume goes up, it's really, really worth it. And he doesn't really go to free throw line. I understand he's shooting 30% from the free throw line. He's probably gonna miss at least one whenever he goes to free throw line, but the volume is not really high anyways. So that's okay. Patty Mills, if you want some points. And guys like Derek White, if he's still out there, you want to grab him. I talked about him a few times. Maybe in points leagues, he's not as impressive as category leagues. In category leagues, he really does a really good job filling up the stat sheet. He's great efficiency as a point guard from the field and gets you a lot of steals and blocks. Blocks especially as a point guard. He's really scary. Rudy Gay is another guy, really efficient, can get you 13 points. 5 rebounds, usually very efficient. Give you a tiny bit of defensive stats, tiny bit of rebound, tiny bit of steals. At the Atlanta Hawks side, Cam Reddish, if you want him for some steals, and Gallinari, he played 30 minutes. I think this guy has some value, especially the free throw department. If this week you're tight in the free throws, go grab him. He can make 1% or 2% difference in your free throw, I believe. Playing 30 minutes. He's shooting 90. I mean, he's around 90s guy, and if you play more minutes, get the attempts up to 5. Really really good, really valuable. Kevin Huerter is another guy with Hunter out for 7 to 10 weeks. Yeah, you gotta grab this guy. Just a lot of value at the moment. Playing fairly well. So move on to the next game: the New Orleans Pelicans and Dallas Mavericks. Who is hurt on the Pelican side? Nobody's hurt actually. There is nobody on the injury report. Interesting. Maybe I looked at it wrong. But just look at those two teams. New Orleans opponents and Dallas, they get about the same number of steals, but Dallas opponents, they don't really block that many shots. Luka Doncic has the ball in his hands a lot. So the only guy that's driving the basket is probably Luka Doncic. He's pretty big. He won't get blocked a lot. While New Orleans Pelicans, they get blocked a bit more. I expect Zion to actually get blocked a lot at the rim. He's a bit undersized, not in terms of bulkiness. He's a big boy, but in terms of size. And on the Pelicans side, Eric Bledsoe, if you see out there, you can grab him. But just remember, both efficiencies are negative this year. Has a little bit turnover and doesn't really have that one category. Over the years, he's like a 5.5 assists, 1.5 steals a guy, and give you 14, 15 points. These two categories used to be his main, really scary categories. This year, 0.7 steals, not interested. 3.7 assists is nice, but it's not that much. As a team, they're getting 7 steals. So just not too high on him. And, with the new coach this year, they really slowed down the pace. Especially for a fantasy perspective, you want the team to be as fast-paced as possible. More possessions means just everything, right? Even on the defensive side, you can get more rebounds, you can get more steals and blocks. Nickeil Alexander Walker, I'm not too interested in him at the moment. Last game, he only played 15 minutes because the rookie Kira Lewis got some minutes. He's also a pretty decent player. Can put up fantasy stats when given the opportunity, but the opportunity is not here. Because Eric Bledsoe and Lonzo Ball, they play majority of the guard minutes, and JJ Redick sometimes comes in and steal a few minutes. Willy Hernangomez as the backup center has had a nice game, but he's really inconsistent, and his ceiling is, even if he pops up, I don't think it's that interesting. And on the Dallas Mavericks side, Jalen Brunson had a pretty big game last game. I wouldn't count on it. You can really stream Maxi Kleber for some threes and blocks. He's been averaging 1.7 threes as a power forward. That's pretty good. Shooting 47%, I don't know, that's sustainable. And he's usually a pretty good block set. Can give you like a block or two. 1, maybe 1.5. Dorian Finney-Smith also can give you nice stats around, all around. His scoring is going to be low. It's just sitting in a corner and waiting for Doncic to get him the ball and shoots it. He attempts 5 threes a game. All right, 1.7 is also good. Give you some steals and block numbers, nothing else. Let's look at let's move on to the next game. The Clippers and the Chicago Bulls. Clippers, yeah. I wouldn't recommend streaming guys on the Bulls tonight because they're playing the Clippers. Clippers don't turn the ball over that often. 7 steals. They don't really block. They get blocked. And they're holding their opponent. 46% is not too bad. Only 36% is also not bad. But the opponent only on average score 108 points. Their defense has definitely improved since last year, where I guess they thought they can just cruise over the regular season and turn it on in the playoffs. This season they've been locked in. Paul George is still out, so there's some usage opening up on the Clippers. I think Patrick Beverley is worth streaming, and if he plays well, you hold on to him. Right, Nicholas Batum, same thing. Those guys, they're not gonna give you a lot of high scoring, but they do a little bit of everything else. They don't really have that one category that's impressive. Even the Batum this year being averaging 1.3 steals, that's pretty good. 1.3 steals, I take it. Reggie Jackson, not interested, to be honest. The volume, this guy, you can still stream him, but I would stream both Patrick Beverley and Batum before him. Although Patrick Beverley is still coming back from an injury, so his minutes might be limited. Luke Kennard, no, not interested. And Lou Will had a great game last game. I just don't think it's gonna happen every single game. Zubac, you know what he does? He can give you a rebound. He can give you a field goal. Really good field goal. Field goal guy, 65%. Yeah. On the Bulls side, I wouldn't recommend. I mean, because they're playing the Clippers. I will still go for Satoransky if I need some assists. But remember, Kobe White just popped off last game. So if he continues his hot shooting streak, Satoransky gonna not get that many minutes. So the upside is really limited in my opinion. Patrick Williams, I think he's the only guy. Thaddeus Young should be rostered everywhere until those guys come back. Patrick Williams is the only guy that hey, I might stream him for today, and they don't have a game on Saturday and Sunday, so you're using your acquisition just to get one game out of one guy on the Bulls. I wouldn't highly recommend it. I just prefer more games. Let's go to the next game. Sorry, a bit tired. Milwaukee Bucks and the Jazz. Wow, this is gonna be a great game for both teams. I mean, Jazz has the best record in the NBA right now, and just see Milwaukee averaging 8.3 steals, 5.7 blocks is kind of low. While the Utah Jazz, they're only generating 5.7 assists per game, and 1.5 of them is by Mike Conley. So I mean, I think Spider Mitchell. It's not like he's still his ability to get steals, just no longer there. I think it might just be a system thing. I'm starting to think. There's only 5.7 steals as a team. That's kind of, but both teams are great off defensively. Jazz is specifically 44%, while shooting points per game is 105. Milwaukee, I know they like to give out a lot of threes. Like on average, their opponents shoot 37 threes. So I mean, those Utah shooters, they might just have Bogdanovich might just go off. Like Utah shoot 42 threes a game. Interesting. See what happens tonight. Because the Bucks, their defense is like they want to pack the paint. It's okay, you guys shoot threes outside. Milwaukee Bucks, who do you want to? Can't believe I'm saying this, but Bobby Portis, he kind of gets over the years, when he was on the Knicks, he punched a teammate, right? A couple years back, he punched what's his name? Dude with the beard, 6'10", can shoot threes. I already forgot, but he punched a teammate, so he hasn't had a good reputation in the NBA. But this year on the Bucks, he's been playing really, really well. Coming off the bench, embrace his role. 22 minutes, 11 points. That's okay. 7.5 rebound. That's really good, right? 55% from the field. That's also very good. So he's worth streaming if you need those categories. And Jrue Holiday is still out. With Jrue Holiday out, Dante DiVincenzo, you just have to grab him. His usage is going to go up. He's going to play a few more minutes, more rebound, more assists, more scoring. So he's a must pick up. After that, yeah. Not interested. On the Jazz side, like I said, Milwaukee give a lot of threes, so perfect opportunity to pick up Bogdanovich if I think he's played quite well, so I imagine he's probably rostered everywhere. But remember, this guy only give you 2 categories, and not those 2 categories. He does it okay, but not that well, right? I would rather have a guy that can give you 1.5 steals, which is a lot, and 1 blocks. Probably the guy like that, probably not a lot of points, rebound, assists, but the efficiency is probably going to be there because the volume is not that high, and the steals and blocks are better than 1.5 steals is probably like 20 points, close to 20. So a guy that's average 16, 17 points, I'm not like too high on it, but yeah, stream him this game for some points. Mike Conley continues to be out, I believe. Yeah, Mike Conley continues to be out. So Joe Ingles, you gotta grab him for some threes and some assists. His steals are no longer there. Derek Favors, you want some a little bit of rebound, blocks, and field goals, some big man stats, you can grab him. Let's move on to the next game. 4 games left. OKC and Denver. OKC is still they're without everybody, right? And OKC. Denver has been playing pretty good defense, holding their opponents to 112 points, but they haven't been winning a lot of games. OKC, they give out 8 steals, which is a decent amount. Let's look at OKC first. There's just so many players. Usage will open up. Let's see. Theo Maledon is out. Shea is out. George Hill is still out. Isaiah Ruby is questionable. So the guy you want to pick up for sure with the most upside is, Derek Beasley. You should probably roster him. His percentage is going to be rough, but lately he's been grabbing you the rebound and points pretty consistently. Everything else not so much at the moment, but he has so much room to grow. But if you struggling, you really hate the bad efficiency, you can drop him because he might just put up okay stats for forever. He does offer some upside though because he can block shots. Hamidou Diallo is a guy you want to pick up with all the guys that out. Given the minutes he produces every single game, stat wise, I don't know if he contributes to winning. Maybe that's why their coach is not playing in 9 minutes. And Kedrick Williams is another guy that I'll be interested in. He does have the defensive upside, somewhat efficient, 55% from the field, can grab you some rebound as well. And on the Denver Nuggets side, Will Barton and Gary Harris is out again. Yeah, he's out, but it's not like he was doing anything in fantasy. But his 30 to 35 minutes gotta give to somebody else. And I know Paul Millsap popped off last game, so I would just see if he can continue doing this maybe for a week. Whenever that fall off, I just drop his ass. Monty Morris is a guy. It's a point guard, very, 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 very efficient. 50% from the field. That's what he does. 3.5 assists. That's good. Yeah. So the last guy, there's also another guy. Yeah, and Will Barton. They've been getting huge minutes. Denver, they lost a lot of depth this year, so it'd be interesting how Michael Porter Jr. plays this game. See if he can at some point play 35 minutes every game and put up big stats. He can do that. I don't know if he contributes to winning necessarily, and he's kind of toxic. I can whenever I see him play, he's every time he gets the ball on the 3-point line, he just lets it fly. Because he's really tall, really athletic, so he can pretty much get his shot off at any time. But sometimes, he just takes some ill-advised shot. Even Jokic said two games ago. Hopefully he can take that in mind. It's not a one-on-one game. You can get your shot off, but you're the most efficient. He's a great shooter, sure, but don't know if he's contributing to winning at this point. The next game is the Grizzlies and the Lakers. Yeah, I'll be scared. Lakers really good defensive team. Holding their opponents below 45% shooting, but both teams give out a lot of steals. So if you want to stream Grizzly guys for steals, perfect, because on average they're getting 10 steals a game. And Lakers, they like to donate, especially LeBron. Is AD playing today? Oh, AD, man. He's been really frustrating. He's out. Oh, sorry, he's questionable. With some Achilles thing. I would still buy low on him because I just like guys with upside. In category leagues, especially the steals and blocks he give and efficiency. The one big problem with him is just the free throw percentage has been really bad. His ranking is really bad. Over the years, the past 5 years or 6 years, he's top 2 every single year. This year, nothing changed. He's entering his prime. I still think he can turn around at some point in the season, putting up huge stats. Once he has it going, he'll continue pushing it. Let's look at who we want to run. Grizzlies, a lot of guys. Just check their injury report real quick. A lot of guys that I like on the Grizzlies side. Wow, actually a lot of injuries. Desmond Bane is day to day. Brandon Clark is also out. D'Anthony Melton is out. Jaren Jackson Jr. We don't know when he's coming back. So you obviously still roster Kyle Anderson. You roster Dillon Brooks as well. At the moment, he's playing quite well. If he's out there on the waiver wire, you grab him, averaging 1.3 steals. Hey, maybe he can give you a 3 steals game against the Lakers, right? Tyus Jones, yes, he might pop off, give you 3-4 steals. He's really capable of doing that with everybody out. And the rookie Xavier Tillman, yeah, he hasn't been getting a lot of minutes, but in 20 to 25 minutes, let's see what he can do today. With all the guys out, everybody should get some moment. Also, Gorgie Jane. Everybody out. All these guys should get 20 to 25 minutes, and their game is really fit to fantasy, getting those defensive stats mainly. On the Lakers side, Anthony Davis is questionable. If he ends up not missing the game, Kyle Kuzma, every single time AD misses, Kyle Kuzma is gonna get a boost, and Kyle Kuzma is not afraid to take shots. Averaging 10 shots, that's third highest on the fourth highest on the team. He actually averages more shots than Montrezl Harrell. Right, with AD not playing, if Harrell is out there on the waiver wire, I will stream him. Daniel Schroeder, sure. But those guys, they're really they're good in one or two category. In Harrell's case, he's really good in field goal, but he doesn't actually grab a lot of rebound. He doesn't block out the shots as a center. Only 0.7 this season. So I would stream the guys that I just mentioned, but the upset is capped because LeBron James is gonna have the ball in his hands a lot. The only way for them to pop off is score 20 to 25 minutes. Because they don't really get those defensive stats a lot, and they're not going to get a lot of assists because LeBron is the number one guy. Two more games. Let's look at the Cleveland side. Playing the Portland Trailblazers. This game, Portland, no defense. Portland, no defense. Their opponent is shooting 40%, and I thought Cleveland is a pretty good defensive team, but it turns out that their opponent is also shooting 40%. But Cleveland give out a lot of steals. Wow, Portland, they don't. So that's something interesting to see. Portland, they don't really. Portland, the shooting percentage is high, but they don't really give out a lot of steals and blocks. So that's one thing to think about. Let's look at who is out on the Cleveland Cavaliers side. One thing I'll be watching for this game is Larry Nance Jr. is out. Kevin Love is he's not gonna be available at some in the 5 game road trip. Highly unlikely. So in the meantime, Andre Drummond and Jarrett Allen, they should continue. Andre Drummond had a horrible game last game. We'll just keep an eye on him. Maybe he can pop off today and buy low. I still think this guy, given the minutes, really high upside guy. It's like the Hassan Whiteside. The man gets 20-25 minutes, he'll produce. Right? Even just need 25 minutes, and Andre Drummond will produce. It's just the minutes. Can he get the minutes? With everybody hurt at the moment, yes. And another thing is, if Andre Drummond pops off, you can also try to sell him because it's risky. He's risky, and unless he gets traded, I don't really see how he has a path to play 35 minutes every night. With the arrival of Jarrett Allen. Who do I want to stream? Taurean Prince is the guy I want to stream with Larry Nance Jr. out. He's pretty versatile, can play a lot of different positions, can defend. That's about the only guy that I like out of everybody. Cedi Osman, not really. With all the guards back, right? Even he play high minutes, he's not gonna give you those assist numbers that he's been giving you. So he's just a low efficient catch and shoot guy for the most part. On the Portland side, we talked about this many times. The number one guy you want to stream is where is he? Gary Trent Jr. High volume shot attempts, points, threes, and Carmelo Anthony. He had a great game. Melo had a great game. Grabbed you a lot of rebound, and 0.8 steals and 0.8 blocks for Melo at this age is really not bad. You can even stream him, expect him to give you a little bit defensive stats at this point. The only thing with Melo in fantasy now is just the field goal is bad. So I like Melo, for streaming purposes. And that's it on this game. No one else is that interesting. And last game of the night, let's talk about the Orlando Magic. How many guys are out on the Magic side? So many. It's scary. Evan Fournier questionable. Cole Anthony questionable. Frank Mason is out. Oh wow, almost forgot. They got Jonathan Isaac on their team. For those of you, might have already forgot about Jonathan Isaac. He is crazy. Last season, I believe, he averaged about 2 steals and 2 blocks a game. Don't know when he does come, don't know what's gonna happen when he does come back. Let's look at their defense. Both teams are okay defensively. The Kings get so little steals, 6.5. That's interesting. Each team gave out 7.7, 7.8. So okay, let's look at the Orlando Magic side. The guy you want to stream for sure is Terrence Ross. He took like 25 shots last game. It's basically him and Vucevic at this point. Offensively, if those guys end up missing the game, yeah, he will take 25 shots, give you volume stats if he can somehow have a good shooting night. Dwayne Bacon, I mean, if he played 35 minutes, you just need some all around nice stat. I don't really like him. He's a low efficient and his defensive stats are low, right? And he's not even a good. Doesn't really give you that many threes either. So he's like a worst version of Tim Hardaway Jr. A worse version of him. So even given 30 minutes, I'm not too high on. Ken Burch, given the minutes, he can be efficient. He can grab you a lot of rebounds. Sure, I would stream him for the night. Frank Mason is out, yeah, pretty much. And this guy Okiki played pretty big minutes, so you can also just try to stream him, give you some big man stats. Averaging 0.9 steals. That's good in 21 minutes. Yeah, I would also stream him. After that, I'm not too high. James Ennis, not too high on him. Him and Dwayne Bacon, I just think even if they play 30-35 minutes, they might pop up, but it's very unlikely. And on the Kings side, who is out? Yeah, nobody's out actually. So everybody's fairly healthy, and with it, the main thing is, all the starters have the majority of the minutes anyways. Marvin Bagley, if you need points and rebounds, he does have some upside, but his efficiency is really, really rough. As a power forward, shooting 47%. 37% from three is actually not bad, but very, very low, small sample size. Bad free throw shooter, so be careful if you want to stream him for some points and rebounds. Just know that your free throws are going to take a hit, and you're not going to get any defensive stats out of him. Hassan Whiteside, yeah, if this guy plays 25 minutes, if anybody gets hurt, if Marvin Bagley gets hurt, if Richaun Holmes gets hurt, ever in this season, you got to pick up Whiteside. He's too good, right? Tyrese Halliburton, yeah, he should be rostered everywhere already. On this Kings team, nobody is worth streaming, to be honest. Only guy is Marvin Bagley for some points and rebound. That's about it. And that's it for all the games. I will see you guys later.